Now that I've got my rough cut ready and I've decided this is going to work, I'm going to keep my tail, I'm going to put my head on here, I need to get these things more carefully cut out. So a few things, first things first, I hold the space bar but down, by the way, and then click with the mouse. See, I get like a little hand there. It allows me to navigate better. And then I'm going to go Command plus, whoop, too much, Command minus, to zoom in and out. And I'm going to try to select and delete this area around the crocodile head that I don't want. So here, I'm going one more, spacebar. Now there's a couple tools here. We have a bunch of selection tools. We have some tools that select a rectangle or an oval shape. Don't really want that. We have the lasso tools, which we are going to probably need for fine tuning. But before that, we have two. Magic Wand selects pixels of a similar color. If you had a solid colored background, this might be useful. But for this, we're going to use what's called the Quick Selection tool. Now, the Quick Selection tool, you'll notice that it has a brush size. I use my brackets just over my enter sign, enter button. Left bracket makes it smaller, right bracket makes it larger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select and then delete the background. Now this looks for edges, and sometimes it gets them and sometimes it doesn't. So you see it did a pretty good job down here, got a little bit of the back in here, got a bunch of the back in here. So I'm going to hold down my Alt button, and you can see inside my little thing it goes from a plus to a minus, and I say nope, nope, I don't want this, and I drag along my edge holding my Alt button down saying I do not want the crocodile, and it tries to adapt. Now you'll notice that it'll usually do a kind of rough and miss some things the first time, but then we'll usually get better after you let go of the button. So I'm going to continue to hold this or to add to this. Now you don't need to hold anything down while you're adding to a selection. Go back and check the edge, look at this carefully. Now you notice I missed a bunch of teeth. There's a couple things I can do. So I'm going to go into a smaller, whoops, wrong button. Oh, hit a shortcut, my bad. There we go. Small bracket or a small brush using my brackets, and hold my Alt button down and try to get the teeth out, and you might be able to and you might not. Okay, you're probably gonna have some bits of green, just like having pieces of salad in between his teeth. I might have to go through and do some of those manually. All right, now if I need to do this manually, you are going to have to get in there. So I'm going to go zoom in, and I can switch to my lasso tool. Now remember, I am selecting the background and deleting it. I'm selecting the green. So I want to add to my selection. So I can hit this button or learn your shortcuts. Holding the shift adds to my selection. So I'm going to say, okay, I want to grab this stuff and delete it. And just kind of looking along. If I missed the edge of that tooth, I'm going to hold my Alt button down, which takes it away from the selection. Shift adds. Remember, I'm adding to the green. Alt button subtracts. So, for instance, it grabbed a bit of his nose in that tooth there. And people are like, that's going to take forever. And yeah, it's going to take you a little while. That's what's called quality. And there is no easy button. You don't just get to hit easy button and magically make fantastic art. That's not how that works. All right, so I'm going to pause this and go through this, but this is the idea of going through and doing a careful selection. Now I've been going down to the teeth. Now if you want to, remember you can go to the Polygonal Lasso tool. This is often quite useful, uses all the same shortcuts. So since I'm trying to get the teeth unselected, hold my Alt button down, but I can click and it will do straight lines. Now I do not recommend this for highly organic outlines, but if you click pretty close together and you have things that can work as relatively straight lines, that's going to work for you. So that is another option you do have. Okay, so I went through and selected a bunch of that stuff. It's a really good idea when you think you're done. Zoom in, hold your space bar down, and go through and start checking your edge. Now I've got a couple bits in here that I grabbed, but I don't care because this whole section is going to go away. I maybe have this one spot here, it looks like. So hold my Alt button down, go back to where I started. There's another one. Hold my Alt button down. So you will have bits and pieces, and you have to be picky. Okay, that's the way that it turns out to be good, and that's why we give you some time to do it with. So I go through, check my whole edge out, look at everything, go through, hit my delete button, and doesn't look like I got rid of anything that I didn't want to get rid of, and then Command D is your deselect, and there you go. Now I've got a little bit of edge out there. That's not a big deal. That basically got grabbed when it didn't select the very, 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 very outer edge. No problem. I just selected an eraser tool, and I'll go through and get rid of this. And by the way, you can also hold your shift button down, and it will do straight lines in between where you click, which once again is probably easier than having super fine mouse control. Just make sure you don't accidentally erase part of your creature. There we go, and we're good to go. All right. Finally, last thing, getting rid of big parts like this, not a big deal. I'm on my head layer. I'm going to drop the opacity down so I can see through it, and I could do this in a couple different ways. I could either take the eraser, or I am just going to take my Polygonal Lasso tool, select that area very quickly, delete, Command D as a deselect, and then I would go through and do the same thing on the tail. We're going to do some different stuff here with the neck a little bit, so I get sort of a combination of crocodile neck and cougar neck.